My dad loved two things in life: his church and the lake behind it. He called it his Sunday sanctuary. Every week, no matter the weather, he'd sit on the dock behind that little country chapel, feed the ducks, fish, or just close his eyes and listen to the wind. When he passed, my family knew exactly where to say goodbye. It wasn't going to be a huge funeral, just a small lakeside memorial. Close family, a couple of chairs, a photo of Dad, some flowers, a candle. That's it. Simple, quiet, respectful. But Karen didn't see it that way. Karen is our HOA president. She has lived across the street from the church for 20 years, but I don't think she's ever stepped inside it. She runs the HOA like she's commanding a warship. Constant. Letters about weeds. Fines for leaving your garbage bin out an hour too long. Threats for non-standard wind chimes. You get the idea? We didn't think to notify the HOA about the memorial. Why would we? It was behind a church, not in someone's yard. But apparently the lake, despite being next to the chapel, was technically considered community shared space under HOA jurisdiction. At least that's what Karen said when she stormed down the hill in the middle of our memorial. My uncle was speaking, my aunt was crying. We were just beginning to share memories about my dad. And that's when we heard her voice. Sharp, cold. Shrieking, "This gathering is unauthorized. You need to clear this area immediately." At first we thought she was joking. Who shows up to someone's memorial yelling like that? But then she pulled out her phone and began recording us. She shouted something about bylaws and how this wasn't permitted use of the lakefront. My mother asked her, "Can't this wait? We're saying goodbye?" And Karen, heartless as stone, said, "Grief doesn't override HOA policy." The crowd grew silent. Even the ducks seemed to stop. I walked up to her and said, "Leave now, before this gets ugly." I wasn't threatening her. I was warning her, because I knew what was coming. Karen was already dialing security. Minutes later, 2 private HOA security guards showed up. Ridiculous-looking guys in rent-a-cop vests, and asked us to vacate the area. One even tried to start blowing out the candles. A cousin got between them and the table, saying, "Touch that photo, and you'll regret it." Then came the real escalation. Karen called the actual police. That's when my little brother started recording. He's 16, always filming something. He caught it all: Karen, waving her arms, shouting, telling the cops we were blocking community access to a shared water source. The police didn't arrest us, but they did ask us to disperse. But we didn't move. Not this time. I looked one of the officers in the eye and said, "This is a memorial for my father. This is private property behind a church. And we're not leaving." A few church members stepped in too. One older man said, "If you remove them, you'll be removing me too. I fought in Vietnam, and I'm not afraid of your clipboard, lady." The cop hesitated. Then he turned to Karen and said, "Ma'am, maybe it's best if you give them space." She went ballistic, screaming, saying she was filing charges. I told her, "Please do. Because your voice is already live on Facebook." The video got shared 80,000 times in a week. People were furious. Local news picked it up. The church did a statement supporting us. And Karen, she vanished, resigned from the HOA board the next week. She claimed it was due to stress. Yeah, stress. From getting called out on every local Facebook group within 50 miles, in the end, we got to finish my dad's memorial. We even installed a small memorial bench by the lake after the HOA voted to make an exception to their no structures policy. The new president. She was at the memorial too, standing beside my mom with tears in her eyes. Didn't understand was this: when people are grieving, they don't need rules. They need compassion. And if you try to take that away, well, sometimes grief turns into something stronger. Community rage. My dad always said, "Don't fight fire with fire, fight it with truth." Right. So I did. I didn't throw a punch. I didn't break a single rule, just exposed what she tried to hide. In the end, Karen got removed. We got justice. My father? He got the peace he always found. By that lake,